Welcome back to our special tonight on tech tyranny, because tyranny is what it has become. Google, by far the biggest corporate threat to the privacy of your personal life. The company recently submitted patent applications that reveal Google's willingness to put cameras in your bedroom and spy on your children, then use that information to sell things. Currently, Google does not have a camera in every home, but it does have a phone in millions of pockets. So the question is, how much information does Google get from those phones, information about you? Fox News Headlines 24/7 anchor Brett Larson went out to investigate this exclusively for our show. Watch.
We wanted to figure out what exactly Google is learning about us throughout the day. So here's what we're going to do. We have two identical phones. The only difference between these two phones is this one is in airplane mode. Both of the phones lack a SIM card, and they haven't been set up to access any Wi-Fi networks. So for all intents and purposes, these phones have no connection to a data network. We're going to keep them with us throughout the day. And while I travel around DC, we're going to figure out just what Google is finding out about me.
Our first stop, Sim's convenience store, just outside our Fox bureau, for a quick coffee. From there, we took a walk to the Capitol and took a quick walk around the Senate office buildings, and then decided to hop in a car and head around town.
Hello. We're going to the children's hospital, please.
To run our test, we had to do more than walk the block, so we took a tour around our nation's capital. First, due north to the Children's National Medical Center Hospital, then west to St. Albans School and the National Cathedral. Our tour around town was a 14-mile journey that lasted more than an hour. The entire time, the phones had no access to the internet.
Oh my goodness.
Not a Wi-Fi connection and not any cellular data service. It almost seemed quaint to assume that Google wouldn't even be able to collect data on me.
Let's head back to the bureau, my friend. Oh, that church is beautiful.
Google's business model is simple. Collect data on its users and then use that data to sell targeted ads. It's a business model called surveillance capitalism. But does that critical data collection work even when your phones aren't connected?
So we're back here at our Fox bureau in DC, and we've got both of our phones exactly how we left with them. The only difference, really, I snapped a couple of bad selfies at the National Cathedral. But otherwise, they have stayed in my pocket for the entire day. So let's find out what they know. This is our man-in-the-middle device. It's basically a Wi-Fi network that these phones are going to connect to once we turn their Wi-Fi on. It's going to pass data through it on the way to Google. But on the way, we're actually going to get a copy of the same data that Google's going to get. We'll be able to decrypt it and then find out where we've been throughout the day.
Within minutes, the numbers rolled in. The phone that wasn't on airplane mode registered more than 100 locations, 130 activities, and even 152 barometric readings. As soon as it hooked up to our Wi-Fi, it transmitted 300 kilobytes of data straight to Google. The phone even logged our exact locations, tracking us all around town: the Capitol, the hospital, the school, and the cathedral.
Now, you may notice what's missing here is the exact route that we took, but it got that data too. It knows when I got out of the car.
The metadata has a time log down to the very second, tracking everything when they think that you're walking, riding, and yes, even getting out of the car.
Okay, so you're thinking, this isn't a big deal. I'll just put my phone in airplane mode. Yeah, we thought of that too. This is the other phone that we had with us that no SIM card, also remained in airplane mode the entire time. Let's see what kind of data it captured.
The phone with airplane mode activated actually logged more locations and activities than the other phone, and it also transferred hundreds of kilobytes of data to Google as soon as it was activated.
The only thing that's missing from this map is our stop at the Children's Hospital, but it still knows we were there. There it is. Exiting vehicle, 100% accuracy.
Through complicated user agreements and free software, Google gets users to sign away their privacy for nothing. They're even following you in the places that most people would expect total privacy: government buildings, a children's hospital, a private school, a church. Every move you make, every step you take, Google is watching you.
It is a scary conclusion to come to if you are using an Android device. Tucker, we should point out, as we mentioned in the piece there, that when you were using Gmail, if you're using Google Drive, any of their services, you're actually not using using a product. You are the actual product. You are what Google is selling to advertisers, and that data that they collect about you is then turned around and sold to advertisers to give you that very specific level of advertising.
I don't think people fully appreciate that. So, I mean, this is a remarkable report because it reveals
Right.
that you don't have control of the surveillance. They, in effect, lie to you and say that you do, but you don't.
Right.
But what
You
about
don't.
iPhone users?
Now, this is an interesting twist here. With iPhone users, Apple is capturing a lot of information about you, but they're not using it to sell you advertising. They're using it to better the services that they offer. But if you are using Google applications on your iPhone, it, in many instances, is actually capturing all of that same data.
So any Google app, so if you have Google Maps, for
If you're
example, which
using
I
Google
think
Maps, it's gonna
every
take-
living human being with an iPhone
Yes,
does.
you do, because Apple Maps is an inferior product.
Right.
But yes, if you're using Google Maps, which most of us are, it is constantly tracking your data. Also, as we learned earlier in the month, if you're using Google Search and said, stop tracking me, but you're using Google Search on your mobile device, be that on an iPhone or an Android device, they are again capturing your location information.
It's unbelievable. It wouldn't be such a big deal if you could trust the company, if they weren't working on behalf of the fascist government of China. It might make us feel better. Brett, thank you for that reporting.
Tucker, thanks for having me.
I thought it was groundbreaking.